Welcome back, LCS fans. Once again, a happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I am Rivington Bisson III, and I brought along a friend for the cast. His name is Sam Kobe Hartman-Kensler.
Hello, friend.
Not yet a father, but still just as awesome. We're loading up for our second match with second place Immortals taking on Echo Fox. And Echo Fox, you got to say it, they are off to a great split on this start, but they aren't dominating like they were in the spring.
Yeah, I mean, as we saw yesterday, Echo Fox in their game versus CLG, they had a couple of problems. However, you know, Froggen, as he talked about in his SOT, they know what their problems are. Yeah. For Immortals, though, they are looking like one of the top teams. They've been a little bit scattered in their gameplay. Right. You know, Huni is, making those headstrong plays that Huni makes sometimes. He gets a little amped up when they're a bit too far ahead. And we did hear from Pobelter yesterday in his post-game interview that they weren't, 100% sure about their draft phase that they had in that game. Yeah. However, they're still making very strong performances in their games, and they're still looking like one of the top 3 teams in the North American LCS. So a very fearsome opponent.
And Echo Fox is their opponent in this matchup, a team that was confident they would surge in the summer, but now so much not living up to the expectations.
Yeah, as I said, Froggen, he talked about it. They know that they are having issues starting out. The early game has been really rough for them. They have the second most gold deficit at 15 minutes. They are also going to transition into the mid game. They have got a little bit of a difficulty in the decision making towards that mid game. So they just talked about they wanted more practice time with the crew, and they are working on those issues. Today though, as we said, their opponent Immortals is going to be very strong, and it's not going to get any easier for them. And those early game numbers as well. At 10 minutes, they even almost average 1,000 gold. Down, so they've got a lot of work to do starting in the early game.
Yeah, we're almost ready to get the battle on Summoner's Rift ready, so let's check out the starting lineups. The starters for Echo Fox are KFO in the top lane. You're going to be looking at Grigny back in the jungle, Froggen in mid, Keith at AD carry with Big calling out shots on support, and Coach Cop.
And for Immortals up top, it will be, of course, Huni. In the jungle, Rainover. Mid, Pobelter. AD carry, Wild Turtle. Support, Adrian. And Coach Dylan up on stage with them.
It talked a little bit about the early game, the numbers at 10 minutes. It really kind of needs to be the focus for Echo Fox, knowing that they could come into a game almost with losing lanes or lanes that aren't going to be at least even. Makes it very difficult to go anywhere after that early part of the game.
Yeah, I think that is step 1 for them, and they do recognize that issue. Then also, after step 1, they're going to have to transition into the mid-game. A lot of people have been talking about, since they are heading into the mid-game with these early deficits, it's been very hard for them to come up with proactive plays. And we will see what Coach Cop sends them onto the Rift with today. They've set up that game plan before they head on in.
They've tried the flexing of Froggen and KFO. They've tried to do a few other things, get those variables in the mix for the early game. See if they can find themselves a lead. They're not afraid to do that. We'll see if they, maybe I was thinking run a Sivir comp, something aggressive, not always have to focus around Froggen, but still allow the team to work as a whole in that synergy.
Yeah, versus Immortals, they're definitely going to have to worry about the Huni Rainover combo. Yeah. Huni's been very, very hard on the Aurelia recently. Definitely wants to play those carry top laners as always. And Rainover will look to enable him. Their 2 biggest picks have been, the Aurelia plus the Rek'Sai. None of those find themselves on the ban list so far. So maybe Echo Fox, try to early round one of them. I
like the Rainover takeaway. Still seeing these bans towards Froggen over and over again. Vladimir, Ryze, and Nivea, they are hitting the point they know is going to be a huge carry in every game.
Yeah, Froggen's had, the majority of the team's damage dealt to champions. He is their, veteran leader for the Echo Fox team. So getting targeted in the picks and ban phase. And there's the other half of that dynamic duo I mentioned. Aurelia does still get picked up for Huni, along with some speed boost to enable him.
Going to be very scary. It did not seem that Echo Fox took well to the aggressive Jax play we saw from Chronologic Gaming yesterday in the top lane from Darshan, and now Huni. Aurelia on the table is going to be trying to provide the same thing from that top. Echo Fox will have to be aware in the early game to not fall too far behind against an Immortals comp. They're probably going to keep building it out to go faster and go straight to your face as much as they can.
Yeah, and a lot of that responsibility will be on Grigny's shoulder. This is a guy they subbed in the latter half of their series yesterday and is going to remain on the starting lineup. Grigny will be piloting the Rek'Sai. See what they pair with it. Lucian Braum, that's a great kill lane there. Does have a lot of early pressure, and Keith and Big can try and go aggressive early maybe.
They got the Lucian. It's all Big wanted. Get the Lucian.
There you go. Get that Ghost Blade. Try and make some plays roaming around the map here. Ghost Blade plus Braum plus Rek'Sai, setting themselves up. I like what they're doing in this champ select at least.
Definitely finding the entry paths to get into their win condition. What will be the walk, the block? Wow, words are hard today. I was gonna say the wall and the blocker, but they just decided to go together.
The wobble knocker?
The wobble knocker. What will be that wobble knocker that Immortals finds? How hard can they search?
Well, right now,
15 seconds left to get that.
Yeah, I think they're going to save their mid lane pick, let Pobelta get the counter pick. Just kidding. Victor is definitely one of the easiest mages to blind pick in the current state of the game. Actually, during most iterations of Victor, he's been a strong blind pick mid lane champion, so they're actually not scared about showing both of their solo laners. And only hiding the AD carry here for Immortals makes me think that they would like to go with some sort of Twitch or Ashe pick or something like that. A little bit out of the ordinary maybe.
They actually went with Wild Turtle on Jinx yesterday as well.
Yeah.
So still putting up some variables there that they may choose. Maybe put the Tristana. We actually saw him going for a very fast turret game in that Jinx pick. So Triss could still do that if they choose to go so.
Yeah, they very well could go for the Tristana turret game. They could also go for what their comp might be kind of lacking right now is some reliable engage. So the Ashe is speaking to me because you don't really want Aurelia as your primary, and even Gragas going in there with the barrel is a little bit unreliable.
Cooney's saying, but what do you mean? I am human Ashe Arrow. I will dive into the back line and just kill the AD carry. It may just be that. We do see the Jax picked up by KFO. I was wondering, would they take damage to damage, and they do so in that top lane. We'll see how KFO fares through that. Cooney will be a tough matchup. This is the Sivir comp coming now from Immortals.
That does seem more likely because Ashe is very fearful of Lissandra plus Divers combo with the rest of the squad that Fox are showing right now. And Sivir can also rely, provide some sort of engage with the extra speed boost. With Karma and Sivir, this is a very mobile Aurelia, very mobile entire team of Immortals. And they are going to go that route. Plus, we've seen Keith. Actually, Wild Turtle is going to be the one nabbing that one. Haha! Sivir's on the other foot this time.
So the double TP holding with 40 seconds left on the side of Echo Fox. They look to probably have a calm early game again. Get Froggen going, make sure KFO can start pressure in the side lane, then try to get Immortals running scared for that teleport play. Immortals, they're ready to fight. They're ready to go right in with this comp.
Yeah, let's see what Echo Fox decide to start out with, because the Jax Aurelia lane is easily swayed by jungler intervention. And I would expect Rek'Sai to be able to get up there pretty early. We'll see what Reignover does. Maybe he hovers on that top side of the map for Huni.
As we did say, Grigny back in, or not back in, still in place of Hard, as he was swapped out just yesterday. And we'll see if he can prove to be one of the big pivotal points out of the jungle for Echo Fox. Get on Twitter to fly your team colors. Tell the world who you are behind using hashtag FOXWin or hashtag IMTWin. And we'll tally those up as we get into game. You see the comps on your screen. Echo Fox looking to turn things around. Immortals looking to kind of just pan things out, figure out where they're going to be continuously going right, and stay on that path. They've been doing well. It's 4-1 versus a 1-4. We'll see if Echo Fox can put their foot down here as we get onto the Rift.
Yeah, I think a lot of that will be due to can Froggen in the mid lane on this Lissandra create some space for himself to get around the map and start ganking. Our most successful Lissandras have started to influence side lanes early and often in their games, not waiting until super late game for those flank initiations with teleport, but trying to roam around.
See who can get scuttle control early as well to help those roams, get everybody moving. Fox already wants to get something on the platter here. just toying with Rainover to see if he gets aggressive. Maybe a Huni will pop out of the Fog of War as per usual if they get aggro early game. But it looks like safety in the line of scrimmage, even though it gets pushed back a bit. Rainover doesn't want to give up too much.
Yeah, you very much have to respect a Braum in the early levels. Winter's Bite, one of the things that can't secure that first blood. Echo Fox trying to get those deep wards down. I think it's because the Lucian Braum does not want to deal with all the poke of the Silver Karma lane, trying to shove them in. As a Braum, you know, you can make that all-in play with the Lucian Braum lane, but if you don't find success, then Silver Karma will have wave control, try and poke you guys down. It's hard for that melee versus the double ranged. Looks like they will be able to get their lane swap though, and Immortals are going to start off on the little bit greedy side, taking away the Krugs here from Echo Fox, and everything's going to be pretty much mirrored. Just an extra camp start there.
Big slowly hovering around mid. See if he can get maybe a one-off on a play if Pobelter were to choose that side to hover, but correctly hovering towards Rainover. Easy peasy there for him to stay safe, and Big will return to top lane.
Yeah, and the main difference here is that KFO on the Jax soloing the small Raptors out of the Raptor camp, and while the support jungle were duoing rather than having him duo from the very beginning. Now he makes his way up there. And Keith was in lane from the very beginning on the Lucian rather than trying to start that side camp for them.
Yes. Jax to the turret. It's going to be much quicker than Rainover getting down to that bot side lane. They should be perfectly fine. You can see Huni's already there, getting the work done, as well as Grigney kind of taking out the Scuttle Crab. So nobody's going to get really the better turret takedown. They'll be pretty much even on this. Adrian, you can see the back line taking out the minions so they don't get hit by the minions coming in as well. All the little things to keep turret takedown in play. Keep yourself ahead of the game.
Yeah, the really big differentiator here might be that we have an Infernal Drake as our first Drake for both these teams, and we have seen a couple of teams tunnel on really early Drake opportunities, especially when there is that Infernal, because it is their favorite, giving those immediate combat stats.
It is going to be the double back. They have set up the forward wards down there, Kobe. We saw two just get placed in. Rainover is trying to get himself a little bit deeper as he takes away Krug. So that Infernal may be on the list.
Yeah.
As we see Echo Fox just getting the blue over Krug.
It's funny because everyone loves the Infernal so much just because it gives you damage, and damage is, oh, great.
Oh, it's awesome.
Even if these are people who aren't building damage and won't actually benefit from that much. Plus, you know, that Drake, since it's percentage-based, you know, not exactly the best early game Drake. Good to have in your pocket for later, though, once everybody does start getting their damage items. So far, though, nobody tunneling on it, and just standard swapping back. Both top laners backing off. Looks like we may have a recall interrupt here.
Huni is just being super mobile right now. Bottom lane picking up CS, going to the mid lane. He's going to pick up a few here and tax his Blade Surge across the lane to go back top. Keeping himself mobile, make sure he's not going to go down, but also on the map. We saw him kind of do this yesterday because his flash had to be blown, but now he's kind of just relegating himself to walking, experience, now to the top. They have everything in order.
Yeah, and because of that extra CS, he's eked out a 200 gold lead or so over KFO, you know, plus that partial level lead that he does have over him, which is very big as far as the top laners meeting back up. Every little bit counts for top laners in lane swaps.
Yeah. See the KFO back now all the way to base, walk down the lane.
Yeah,
won't be a part of the gold. We'll actually see how Immortals distributes that here. Both Adrian and Wild Turtle are going to back off.
Yeah, that's why we really emphasize and point out the recall interrupts, because 10 seconds like that can mean a huge, huge difference here in the early game of a lane swap. Both teams are trying to give over their solo gold, but again, the experience, an entire level at this stage in the game means a lot if they are to meet up and have to fight each other.
Froggen and Pobelter basically fighting waves in the mid lane here. We did see Froggen did teleport back to lane, so that'll be kind of pressure relieved from any type of play we'll see from him just yet. But as level 6 comes up, those should synergize quite well.
Froggen in the mid lane doing very well for himself, though. Talking about gold leads, he's got that very small 100. But again, the Huni and Reignover combo. Ooh, flash blown early here. So he's going to have to play cautiously for 5 more minutes. But the Huni Reignover combo, you know, Reignover is also ahead in the jungle a slight margin. And that's where this very, very small Immortals gold lead does come from.
Yep.
Fox not doing too shabby, though. This is better than usual.
It's definitely something they should keep an eye on themselves, seeing how this early game went, how they played the lane swap. We said the 10 minutes was up to 1,000 gold down for Echo Fox. They're keeping that a bit closer here, but a lot can happen in 3.5 minutes, and it looks like things are going to start as those outer turrets get down. You get a little more pressure in the inner side of the jungle.
Yeah, Fox actually go a wave ahead on the top side. They shove it all the way in. Collapse down here for some mid lane pressure. Wave clear ultimate from Pobelter is going to run them off. So now we look at the bottom wave that's crashing. In this, you always have to keep track of just the minion waves. It's going to be very, very important that they can get this all the way into the turret, so they bring down Adrian as well. There goes the silver wave clear, no problem. And how many will KFO be able to pick up? Rek'Sai is here to try and lend support and allow him to CS perfect.
Yeah, the rest should be good. He got all these ranged minions.
Oh, that's gonna.
Oh, that is a little scary.
Missed 1, 2, 3.
Whack
No!
minion. And now the other ones step up. Should be able to get that. So KFO building up, still 43 to 20 in the CS difference of that lane, and it's not getting any easier for him here.
Yeah.
That turret's just laughing behind him. Jerk turret. 8 minutes on the clock, 700 gold. See how quick it just kind of separates. We're gonna see if Fox can find themselves a way back in. Nobody's holding too much right now. You can see 500 gold lead towards the top lane.
It's mostly in the Trinity Force race,
Yeah.
and that's very important. As we said, you know, this Huni versus KFO Jax Aurelia matchup can be swung pretty easily if one starts to pull out ahead. And whoever finishes their Trinity Force first has a very big advantage during that lull.
Huni would love it, more than aggressive, or more than would love to just go in and each fight aggressively and continue fighting Keith every time he can find him.
They could set up for this Infernal now, actually, because they do have Huni on top side with teleport, whereas the duo from Echo Fox is up there and have no way of joining. So this is an Immortals Infernal Drake, pretty free right now. And the top lane duo isn't getting too much done. They do have minions pretty close to the turret, but Huni on Aurelia. Aurelia is even easier than Jax to CS under a turret, and he should be just fine.
I'm not sure that Echo Fox had enough vision there. The dragon was quite low, but that would have been Jax and a Rek'Sai versus a Gragas and a Sivir. Right now, moving across the map, though, onto Pobelter, cleanses as quick as he can. Doesn't really have too much damage to put back on Grigney in the gravity field, so he lets him go this time. To recoup on mid lane. Froggen's gonna get back in, and Pobelter is just throwing the Chaos Storm out every time he gets the chance. He doesn't connect with the auto, but the Chaos Storm still stays in range. He gets the kill he needs, but goes down in the end as well.
Yeah, I mean, Froggen just used his ultimate, so he doesn't have that left, and Pobelter goes right in on him. Doesn't have to burn flash or anything. Even though he goes down, he got the first blood money. Echo Fox's kill was assisted, though, so you kind of make up for that. And now they got mid lane pressure since the wave clear is gone. Getting some extra damage there. So not the worst thing in the world for Echo Fox, but surprising nonetheless.
It definitely makes it hard for KFO. We'll see this one more time and continue to talk about that.
I mean, then changes over to the Storm here from Victor. The pulses do a significant amount of damage, and it's enough to get him. They do end up having to use the Rek'Sai Flash and Braum as well. So some summoner spells also gained an advantage by Pobelter there with the solo play. Yeah. Even if the gold assist kind of even outs that number.
We kind of pointed this out casting yesterday, myself and Azael. Like, looking at Huni farm these lanes makes it so tough. Look where KFO is. He was just in mid trying to fight.
He's in the jungle.
Now he's in the jungle looking for a farm. Huni controls the wave so well after he gets that edge that it's almost impossible to come back unless you're killing another lane somehow.
Very difficult with the level lead as well.
Yeah.
No vision. You know, they have Huni supported with these pink wards entering onto their side. There's one right there. KFO, if he smells it, he could go take care of it, but does not.
Oh, unscented wards.
Never get tricked into buying those scented wards, Rip. Ah, big now.
Oh, that's nobody saw that.
Doesn't matter because nobody shot any spells at him, but
Just
that
need
was
them
one of
to
those.
you.
I need to get out of here. Shield movements that way.
He was just being very clear in his direction.
Yeah. Okay, so at this stage in the game, Echo Fox, they are facing a gold deficit. They are facing a break deficit, and now they're getting jumped on.
Picture perfect. Puts Grigney right back in the middle of the Immortals squad. And now they're going to go ahead and happily push this wave in. They may not get everything out of it. Could see the TP from Frog, and he's still down towards the bot lane. He's slowly walking up and stops pushing bottom as his team gets taken down. He's going to have to come back now and help keep both summoners in the base.
Well, here comes the snowball, Riv.
Be going for mid, actually.
This is just heartbreaking for Echo Fox fans. You really want to root for these guys, but they've had such a rough time to split. And Immortals look very strong. They were coming pretty close to even taking down TSM. So definitely making their case for top team as well. I don't know about that Rift Herald, though. I think he's going to be able to get the better of him.
It's like, maybe they won't see us in here.
7,000. All right. Echo Fox are going to be able to get the Rift Herald. Comeback time.
All right, so does this go to KFO so he can just hang out?
I mean, he does need all the help he can get. He's still level 6. Huni is level 8.
Yeah.
Huni also has over 1,000 gold lead. It's 1,300 gold lead for Huni. Randover going in, body slam flash into the ultimate, and then the collapse here. This is timed as well with that wave, as we talked about. You know, got to keep track of those big waves wherever they are on the map. Giant minion waves are an objective in themselves, and Immortals collapse on their giant minion wave, and it's just a very big push for them. Pretty early on into the game, too. This is only 13.5 minutes, and Immortals gaining a lot of momentum. Froggen's got a CS lead, though. So there's that.
Yeah, he was in the bot lane, then went to push mid. Unfortunately, couldn't get it to go down, but it is very low. That mid turret sitting around 3,200 right now. Or actually, 2,300, I should say. So a few more hits, at least one team fight if they can get Immortals pushed back. Getting that mid turret would really help to keep getting deeper wards. Because without deep wards, these teleports are really only getting to each other during the fight once they've been engaged on.
True. The teleports are going to be a big tool that Echo Fox need to get back into this game, because at this stage, Echo Fox need to manufacture a numbers advantage if they want to have any sort of fight. Right now, it's hard to get that numbers advantage if Immortals are all grouped up as 5 together, though.
Well, here's the 1-3-1. It's actually all the way in a mid across the river, a 1-3-1. They're trying to initiate to say, let's get these waves out and try and get some time to work on our own side of the map. That's
how you split up a 5-man group mid.
There you go.
They're going to pressure all lanes, get some good CS. The only problem is that since they're behind, usually, you know, when you have both side lanes pushed up like that, that's your prep to make a big play for your team. However, being behind like this, Echo Fox, after they prep both those side waves, they don't feel like they have the ability to make that play. They don't feel like they have the items to back up the minion waves that they've just set into motion, and they back off. So just trying to buy a little time for themselves here. Maybe, as you said, you know, they try and get a little bit deeper wards down.
Yeah.
It would be that teleport from Froggen. He's post level 11 now, so Lissandra with that level 2 ultimate, they can try and delete someone before Immortals can react. The problem is that Immortals have so much speed with which to react. The Sivir plus the Karma that we talked about, disengage on the Gragas as well. makes it very difficult. And Huni right now going to be able to prune this top wave as well.
Yep. You're talking about Adrian rushing the Eye of the Watchers there for a bit of cooldown. Continue the shields, continue the poke for himself. There is the On the Hunt. Big throws back to Glacial Fissure, but look at Fox coming out of the woodwork on the right side here. The teleport is going to be coming in from Huni, and that really turns Fox away to continue this fight. KFO is going to be just on the outside, leaps to his team. Chaos Storm is still in range, along with Turtle flashing forward to keep that engaged, and it looks like they will back off from the fight to gain what they can on the map.
They have the On the Hunt from Wild Turtle to start the initiation.
Yeah.
First engage there. After they kite back and wait for the teleport to come in from Huni, then they have the Karma speed boost. So just so much control here from Immortals. Even though they're only able to get 1 kill off of that, that's going to be the Drake as well for them. They have their deep ward still standing, and this was Echo Fox's attempt at trying to get that numbers advantage play, 5 versus 4. But a lot of disengage from Immortals, and they buy time for Huni to teleport in.
Great cast right on the teleport of Huni. Gonna give him just an open window to fly through.
Yeah.
Not that he did much.
Those flashes from Immortals at the end definitely not needed from both Adrian and Wild Turtle.
Hungry. They're getting hungry.
However, it probably won't end up costing him. Maybe that does, bite the duo lane here if Echo Fox are able to strike back and try and catch them out of position. But as of right now, Immortals are feeling so calm that they can just spend those spells at will, pretty much. Grouping up once again to try and pressure this mid turret.
That is a good point. There's not much to punish when those flashes are down on the side of Immortals. They can pretty much take the fight at any point in time at this juncture. 5-1, 17:20 on the clock, and they take down the mid turret. The outer ring has been destroyed here for Echo Fox, so it's going to kind of be invasion time in the jungle, and they have to be careful. Already losing some of the resources.
Yeah. Echo Fox, they're kind of in that stage where they really, I don't know, they need to focus on mentality, I think. They've had very little time to practice after, their loss against CLG, try and regroup and, make corrections, but try and refocus because it can only get better.
So once these fights come in, say Echo Fox does get the good flank, what are their targets? Because they're still going to have to pay attention to Huni in the back line, but Froggen wants to ult somebody. What is Echo Fox looking for in that kind of perfect fight?
I think you melt the front line here for Echo Fox. If Huni's going to charge in there, just try and focus them down, because Echo Fox, they don't really have the power, the items to back up a dive-style team fight.
Right.
And Huni's not a tank, right? He is on Aurelia.
That's true.
So, and he doesn't have his Sterix finished yet, which I think he might be headed towards. He might have also been the one that was building Frozen Mallet, I believe. So,
not going to put it past him.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. But yeah, Echo Fox at this stage, kill whoever's in the front that they can actually focus without exposing themselves.
Well, there are some of the deep wards we were looking for, Kobe, on the side of Immortals now. The double sight stone has finally been able to push itself slowly over that river. You can see Rainover walking through a few of those wards. So possibly a next Drake could be help. But like you said, the full initiation isn't really what Fox is looking for. See if they can pick off one of those frontliners. Right now, Immortals clearing the bot side. They know top isn't really going to be any worry in that short of time, so it looks like we're going to get a fighter on this. It's going to be dangerous to protect Echo Fox.
Yeah, you can tell Immortals not worried about anything. Group back up, 5 down bottom. They had mid lane shoved. There's an easy turret for them. Saunter on out through the enemy jungle. Huni going to teleport up to catch that wave. They're not worried about split lane pressure from KFO. It's going to crash into the turret. Maybe they lose a couple of minions, but no damage will really be done to it, and Huni will get there for the cannon. Oh, doesn't even lose that extra melee, only lost 1.
Everybody participating in just about all but 1 kill on the side of Immortals here. Very nicely done. Getting around the map. They definitely worked very, very well as a team in the early game once the map is split open. They know exactly where the weak points are and how to affect those. Right now, they're actually giving Fox quite a bit of time here. I think they're going to kind of reel Fox into saying, bring down this mid turret again, and then we'll take a tier 2 and inhibitor.
Yeah, you can see what Immortals just went back to purchase after taking that down. Second tier turrets. There's only one second tier left on the map, right in the middle. Immortals, they don't have to do anything except for one split push. Their 4 squad is so safe with the Karma and Sivir speed that we've already seen them demonstrate, plus the disengage from Gragas. That 4-man squad can hold mid forever pretty much, and Huni does have that small lead on Aurelia, so he's just fine. He's level 11, got that level lead plus tiny bit of item lead. And now here we go. Echo Fox trying to set up a numbers advantage play. 2 versus 1, try and turn the tides here. Take out this split pusher. Try and take advantage of Huni's hubris. Maybe Huni goes super aggressive and they can turn it around on him. This is really their only hope.
If they see Froggen, they might just try to squeeze out mid. These are both teleports in the bot lane right now, and that's going to be tough. They can't get back to the fight. Huni actually stays alive here, but Immortals don't get Baron at this point. 21 minutes would be a pretty hard fight for them, but they were looking to bait in something there.
Yeah, I think that Immortals might be looking to clean up the last secondary turret first before they start going with the Baron baits. But that's going to be a very real threat. Infernal's going to be up in 25 seconds for Immortals. And I don't think the Equifax will fight them over it, but there is a chance. So they'll probably start with the easiest objectives, clean everything off the map, and then try and work their ways over there. But right now, Inhibitor turret under fire, and Equifax don't have defense in place. A couple of autos on it, but chased off.
They got a while for these ones. Huni setting up the bot wave. Echo Fox just playing the slow, safe game right now. Making sure they don't lose anybody. 185 to 128 as KFO is still trying to scrape up CS around the map here. Huni's going to be pushing a wave into him, but may lose his life as he attempts to go for it.
Yeah, KFO coming for him, and there is a deep teleport ward. You can see they pinged it, but they're not willing to go for it. Sivir halfway down the river. Here it is!
Oh, like he's gonna live the last field from Adrian, and even goes back in to cast the Chaos Storm if the team were to reinitiate. Or just say initiate altogether. And that actually stopped Fox from being able to go forward as well to get a few more of their own kills.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an Infernal Drake. Immortals will take that. Pobelter gets out. Adrian with the Karma Shield. And Immortals don't drop anyone there.
That is a very tilting factor right there. If that continues to happen to you in your game.
That's why you take Cleanse versus Lissandra, Riv. Pobelter, it's saved his life 2 times now, I believe. This one really close, actually, though. Adrian is there, though, to shield him up. And they can just return to the same old game plan here for Immortals. Now that they've got the Drake off the field, they can set up the split once again. Oh, Huni's actually going to set up for... Okay, he was waiting to see if anyone would come to try and kill them, but gets a little impatient, doesn't want to let that money go to waste. Now he'll just pressure bottom, and Immortals can threaten the Baron. Try and start clearing out those wards, because it doesn't look like they really want to siege anymore. Now, Sivir is pretty short range, and even Victor, difficult for him to get those autos on turret if he doesn't have Cleanse and Flash to rely upon, getting jumped on. So maybe the safer bet is control vision around Baron, let Huni control the side lane.
Just dialed back a little bit. Not full go mode, but they're still ready to fight.
Yeah, you can see what Echo Fox have learned from their game yesterday, though. They're trying the same thing CLG did versus them. It was this 2-man split push, basically. CLG had it where Darshan was on the Jax. He would show in lane, kill the minions, and show as a single split pushing Jax. And then they had Puhi follow him for a 2-man teleport split push. Echo Fox doing the same thing, and KFO lays the beat down on Huni, popping the life grip and chasing him out of lane.
See how fast that changes. That Cutlass as well, once that finishes, is really going to make it hurt as well. And doesn't look like they have enough minions to engage. It's just going to be the tit for tat in mid lane as Froggen starts to come back here from the side, but he'll be warded out.
Yeah.
Actually, he may not have passed a ward there. Oh, he did that.
Wherever Froggen goes, that's where the possibility of playmaking is for Echo Fox. Here goes Immortals, though.
Froggen right onto Turtle. His spell shield is on, so Froggen's waiting. And they actually throw it right onto Pobelter, making sure the AoE damage of the fight is pretty much gone. But you have to remember, those bouncing boomerangs from Turtle can still do a heck of a lot of damage. But Immortals focuses on the turret. The top lane fight is still going back and forth. with no victor
gotta
to
watch
be had
out.
just yet. Grigney staying on the front line to try and deter Immortals from taking it. So mid laner for mid laner.
Yeah, I was actually curious. Immortals decided to go for that with sight of Froggen there in flanking position. Froggen does strike and take down Pobelter, who he knows doesn't have it. Oh, Turtle dead!
That's going to be all she wrote for that fight. Keith, relentless pursuit forward and takes down Wild Turtle. It seems like Immortals is overstaying their welcome a little too much here.
Yeah.
And KFO should get a bit of free time with this turret.
A little bit careless play here from Immortals. You know, they try and engage with the Lissandra showing. KFO starting to bully Huni in the 1v1, even down the level. Gets pressure on the turret. Things are looking up for Echo Fox ever so slightly as they get the other kill onto Turtle for pretty much nothing as well. They would really need to knock down those turrets to make it a true comeback step, though, and get that gold afterwards. But yeah, here's Immortals. They just engage 4 versus 4 with the Lissandra seen right behind him. Pobelter, they know he's got no cleanse.
They all flash forward from the Chaos Storm. That was ballsy. Very nicely done. See where they can keep going. Doesn't seem like Immortals is ready to relieve that pressure. Love tap takes down mid turret. 27 minutes. As we come up towards 30, the 7,000 gold lead here for Immortals. It actually seems like they should be pressuring more, but the work KFO is doing is keeping Huni on the side and actually keeping Huni down now. 230 to 183 CS.
Yeah.
He almost has that Blade of the Rune King finished up now.
It is a lot. I mean, even though Steric's Gauge does increase the damage of your Trinity Force proc, because it increases the base damage of your champion, and that's all that the Trinity Force proc scales off of, it doesn't have a lot of combat effective. As far as straight up stats, if you don't count the shield passive, it doesn't provide a lot of, it's not that efficient. Uh-oh, here goes Huni. Locked up.
Frozen Tomb, locked up, knocked up. He's trying to get an Equilibrium strike on and play a little ring around the road.
There it is! They did it! The 2-man split push Riv. They learned this yesterday. They use it effectively now. They're able to get their kill. They finally get a turret for themselves. However, it's going to cost them an inhibitor turret. So I think they make the call to get their own inhibitor turret and use this minion wave.
Oh, boy. But Keith is mid, though. He's going to have to come back now. There's so much little health on that mid turret that it looked good, and he didn't think they were going to be going for the base. Now it's a semi-base race. The power is definitely on Immortals' side here. Keith comes back, calls it out. They're going to save the other Nexus turret. So they drop inhibitors, but for the Nexus turret, Chaos Storm, Gravity Field to pull him back, doesn't even need it, gets the autos and the Q off, and they get the shield back. Pobelter, that means he can still go hard under the Nexus turrets, but they say, wait a minute, not get too crazy here. They've backed out of our base, so we can slow this down and see how they try to defend.
Huni's got teleport, though. He's waiting to teleport in. Immortals are not done. They're going to make Echo Fox pay for that.
Is there a ward coming in? Obviously, they have the minions. It's someone to be fighting. Maybe it's the one the turret goes on. It actually goes on Rainover. I'm not sure he wanted that right away, but it's not really going to matter. He is huge. Immortals looking to put the final touches on. They go for the back line, and KFO goes down with that idea. It's going to be Fox trying to get to the Fountain for Solace, and now it's going to be Immortals looking to take game one just under 30 minutes over Echo Fox.
Man. So Echo Fox, what they were trying to do there is get back into the game by claiming some tower gold in that game of chicken with Immortals. But that play all hinged on the squad that was at the Nexus holding the Nexus. And Echo Fox tried to get one too many things. They wanted to get the inhibitor plus mid lane turret, which was about to fall over, but Keith not being there from the very beginning to try and defend Nexus turrets ended up costing them. And when he did get back, then Pobelter was able to 100% him. So Echo Fox, they were trying to make a bold move to get back into the game with some tower gold.
It's always the risky, we can call their bluff. Maybe we'll kind of spook them enough to get out of there. But Immortals, they knew. They're like, no way, we're going right for the
I mean,
turrets.
At that stage in the game, you don't have very many options as Echo Fox. And so, they tried to make the play to get back in, but Immortals not going to let them have it. And what was that, 29 minutes, just under 30 minutes there for the first game. This is the best of 3, so we are going to get another one, though.
Immortals makes it tough. You have that double TP comp, and you can't really get wards to the backline to even TP. We'll see what Echo Fox can come up with in the next game of the series. With one game down, let's check in with Dash, Mark, and Crumbs to break down the series so far.
Thank you very much, Riv. And what a crazy ending. What a very interesting ending. And we will get to that. We will watch that over again. But I want to work our way to it because Immortals, once again, kind of showcasing that they still have a very dominant early game. They still want to play a fast game, but they do play a little fast and loose. And that's where some teams find windows to get back into the game and maybe why they're not appearing quite as dominant this split as they were last.
Yeah, I mean, I want to start the draft actually with the Lissandra pick into Victor. This is a couple times teams do it, like CLG did it too, and this is not a good matchup for Lissandra. Victor can get pushed in a little bit early, and you get some ganks set up on him, but he takes cleanse, so that goes out the window, and then once he hits 6, he can just press R and run you down the lane, and you just E away, and you can't ever win trades. And we saw that happen. He gets a solo kill. Pobelter kills Froggen in mid lane. He gets punished for it because the rest of the team is around. But
right, that was first blood.
That was first blood, and then you just down pressure mid lane the whole rest of the game, pretty much. And I don't know why teams keep picking the Lissandra into Victor.
And then I know on your end, Jax Aurelia matchup, you have some strong feelings on how Jax does in that matchup, at least for a very significant portion of the game.
It's a skill matchup for the most part. Like until Jax hits a lot of items, Aurelia will have the advantage. Because I think that with the new Trinity Force, Aurelia actually benefits more than Jax on that because Jax, most of his damage comes from just his auto attacks, from his Empower and his ultimate, and Aurelia's main damage is her E and her W, which are very cooldown reliant, unlike Jax. So the Trinity Force, in my eyes, would obviously benefit Aurelia a lot. And for the most part of the game, he was quite ahead in CS.
Right.
But he was maxing the Blade Surge over the He-10 style, which is a little... It's interesting, you know, I haven't seen that before, especially against the Jax matchup. So he was playing it in a more of harassed way, but every time that Jax was all in, he was just struggling to actually come back.
Aurelia is one of those champions where you really can't. There's so many different situations that will dictate the order in which you skill up, and so he is opting into Equilibrium Strike, then into Blade Surge, and his W hits in style.
Yeah, he got his lead. We can't say anything.
Exactly. Yeah. So it is tough necessarily to analyze that matchup specifically when he chose one path, and we may have gone another. Needless to say, Immortals was up pretty significantly early on in the game. 11:30 into the game, we saw them make one of those very Immortals calls to dive a tier 2 turret. The fight does start up here by the blue buff, but will finish under the inner turret in the top lane.
Rainover has a really good ultimate there to knock Grignane to the rest of his team, and they pick up a kill. And then here's Pobelter kind of just going man mode.
Oh, I love this. I love when somebody just dives before the wave gets there and just instantly blows them up. You have no chance of retaliating.
When a Victor flashes the wall behind you on your second tier turret.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like most teams play that situation where like, okay, we have the wave coming, Pobelter start wrapping behind, and Immortals is like, nah, dude, just flash that wall. Yeah. Let's just go now. Don't wait, we're going.
I love it. 3 for 0. They pick up the turret as well. So again, Immortals kind of look like they're off to the races here. But now I want to push this forward to the base race, game-ending replay. So we're going to start rolling this one out because it starts with a great roam down bottom, this 2v1 onto Aurelia.
This is awesome by Froggen, finding the opportunity to get the Jax ahead and hopefully look for the inhibitor. But what is the rest of Echo Fox doing? They cannot beat Froggen's tier leader here. They have to actually defend the play that he's making.
Right.
They're sitting around middle, and then they're like, oh, we can actually defend. They're not going to all in. Keith, just stand, take mid turret. Immortals is immediately like, oh, actually, you're not going to recall. We're just going to end the game. So he takes like an extra 30 seconds to actually get the recall in, which makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, Echo Fox eventually does get the inhibitor, but this is just so split by Keith and the rest of Echo Fox. Like, they should just be defending and be willing to trade the inhibitor. And
Keith gets so close to the Victor there, trying to call the wave. He really gets mispositions there, and he just eats so much damage that eventually Victor chases him down and kills him. And finally, we see Froggen and KFO returning, and it's one turret up. But Immortals just plays the rest of this way too well. Like the Gragas, the whole team is just really actually well designed to sit in front of a turret and shoot stuff at you. You have Victor Laser, Karma Poke, Silver Boomerangs, Gragas Barrels. There's so much stuff that like when you're pinned up against something like this, they just keep hitting you. And with Clooney reviving and TPing in, they really don't have much to do.
And this is just the contrast of one team that is making split-second decisions as an entire unit, and one that is a little bit more disjointed, because the initial play by Fox is fantastic. Let's get a gank in here on the Aurelia. Let's have some really serious pressure in the bottom lane. Of course, Immortals responds in kind, says, fine, we'll let them have that pressure there. We'll pressure top lane, but then as you mentioned, Crumbs, 3 members of Fox pushing a first-tier turret in the mid lane as opposed to responding to that properly. They dig themselves a hole that they can't get out of.
A key concept about League is that when one side is making an aggressive play, the other side has to be playing the defensive. You can't just completely give up on that side unless you're going to fully commit everybody to one side and try to end the game in base race. Like, you have to defend this. So I really don't know what happened with the Echo Fox shot calling here, but that was a massive mistake off what looked like an amazing roam by Froggen.
Yeah, I mean, they have been shadowing the Jax a couple of times, and they finally get, you know, a successful pickoff. It looks like maybe a moment in the game where Fox can start working their way back, and then I don't know why. I understand losing track of them and getting out-rotated to the top lane, but to have that reaction where they're like, okay, give that up. Keith, you stay, but we're going to recall two. What are the two going to do? You need to recall
One of which is a Braum.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so some questionable decision-making there at the end of the game. An exciting finish to the game nonetheless. Pobelter's going to snag Player of the Game honors on this one, 6-2-1 as Victor. But really, just as you mentioned, the solo kill in the mid lane, having control over Froggen in the 1v1. Clutch kill on Keith there at the end, because if the Lucian does live in that fountain, maybe they can defend and extend the game. So solid play by Pobelter.
That flash over the wall, too.
Yeah.
A lot of these highlights were Pobelter's focus. So.
Right, so he's making a lot of work, or a lot of things happen for the team. Game 2, Hard, going to be subbing in for Grigney when it comes to Echo Fox. So we've seen Hard play. Thoughts there? Does he change anything up?
Don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think this is a series that Fox has much of a chance of winning. You can, you know, swap between the two, maybe get more information on how your team functions, but it's going to be really hard to come back.
It's not a micro issue here. It's the fact that it's a macro play that they're constantly getting outpaced by Immortals every single step of the way, be it divings, rotations, everything. Immortals just has the leg up, and subbing in one player isn't going to magically solve everything for you.
All right, well, that's going to close out Game 1 over here for Fox and Immortals on NALCS 1. Over on NALCS 2, we're into Game 3 between Apex and Cloud9. Obviously, it's 1-1, but Cloud9 out to a small 1K gold lead, 7.5 minutes into the game. So if you're curious to see how that third game is going to play out, we're going to check in real quick to take a look and see a few minutes of the action.
Yeah, trying to land the knock-up. Impact does have his ultimate. Ray decides not to drop the Cataclysm as Shrimp waddles down and heads back into the jungle.
Yeah, they saw Meteos moving his way down, didn't think they could actually get a kill fast enough on Impact, and I think they were probably right, especially blowing those first ultimates on Shrimp and Ray. It's pretty long cooldowns at rank 1 before they have CDR. They want to try to make sure they get something out of it. And Sneaky now moving over here, looking for an ultimate perhaps. They're going to try to get something done, I imagine, on Keen. As they do make the rotation to mid lane, similar as to what they did last game. They made a couple rotations, able to blow Summers first time, got to kill the second time.
Yeah, Cloud9 prioritizing shutting Keen down quite a bit, but not able to do it in Game 2. Let's see if they can in this game here as Keen, oh, he's going to be gifted the blue buff, but Cloud9 tried to challenge it.
So far, so good for Keen. And the rest of Apex, honestly, they're doing pretty well here. Everyone's staying very competitive or up in farm, and C9 does have that first blood advantage, but Apex is definitely not going to be worried about this just yet. Jensen making a roam up to top lane, though. Media's trying to clear out the wards before they go in. We'll see if they can get the arrow engage, but they have them warded out, so nothing they can do.
Once again, Cloud9 trying to propel Jensen ahead, but wards from Apex are going to spot it out. Playing it safe. Infernal Drake untouched on the bottom side of the map.
And no one has really felt that they have enough of an advantage, enough pressure to kind of go for that. And they are going to have to try to get a kill or do something before they do. Nice little trade there from Impact. And once again, C9 moving towards the mid lane, but it's all pinged out. We'll see if they can actually hit an arrow, if anything's going to happen here. Sneaky moving up.
Oh, Meteos gets a lot of damage. Keen, oh, dodges the chain and the Winter's Bite. In fact, is going to drop the Petrifying.
Here comes TP.
Teleport.
Ray coming in.
And there goes Xpecial from behind. Meteos gets cast out. He just has to buy enough time. Apollo catches up to Meteos. He's going to drop it. Apex get the first kill of this. Impact even teleporting in. Ray has got the Cataclysm. Can he lock them down? He gets destroyed by Jensen, but Xpecial with the knockup. They're going to turn another kill onto Keen. He lands the speed. Can he catch up? He's going to be slowed out just a bit. Jensen is not going to assassinate him, but that's a quick 1 for 2 in favor of Apex.
Yeah, good job there by Apex collapsing on Cloud9, who was just hanging around for so long, really trying to force this, and kind of uncharacteristically, very telegraphed. They already knew they were spotted out. They continue for it on Keen, who had all his summoners, and Apex make the collapse. So, know, they're going up on Keen, they're trying to make something happen, but they're taking a lot of poke, and here comes the TP from Ray. The bot lane is moving over, and a nice collapse allows them to get the first kill here on Immortals, and then Ray goes in, tries to get a kill of his own, but is going to get CC'd up and dies before he can really get much of a combo off at all. The exhaust has been taken this time by Smoothie.
Yeah, very important adaptation for Cloud9.
Yeah, it was something they didn't have last time. Bunny actually played with the Ignite, and it was key.
All right, well, Apex evening it up there with the 2-1 right there. So we're back to even very early on in the game, only 10 minutes, but based on this, Apex has taken essentially the same team comp rather as they had in game 2, barring the Gragas for a Rek'Sai this time around.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I mean, the comp C9 has is a little different, so I'm not sure that's the best mentality.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a very close game, similar to the game 2 one. But I really like the Cassio pick, especially against people that are struggling in the positioning, especially the tanks. So we see Meteos, Impact, and sometimes Bunny Fufu getting out of position quite a bit. And Cassiopeia is a champion that, if somebody's out of position, especially a tank, they are going to get melted instantly. And we saw that in the game right now where they're trying to go into the Cassio, and if you can't kill her instantly, she's just going to dish out so much damage. I believe she's the highest DPS mage in the game.
She's very high up there. Now, quick thoughts on Cloud9's adjustments, having that LeBlanc in the mid lane, bringing in the Ashe, and then swapping out the Maokai for the Shen, which was banned, but...
They have better engage, like much better engage this game. Before, they just had like a Shen pretty much to go in, and that was it. And now if you're trying to get onto that Cassio with a LeBlanc and Ashe arrow.
And the Maokai.
Yeah, Maokai, there's a lot of follow-up to get to her as opposed to just letting her kill your front line for free, basically.
All right, so a little bit more engaged, what we're looking for, allowing them to make more decisive plays. Anyway, that game is still happening over on NALCS2. Go check it out if you want to see how that 3-game series ends. In the meantime, we've got to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, Immortals and Echo Fox load back up for game 2, so don't go anywhere.
Echo Fox looking to turn things around. Immortals looking to kind of just hand things out, figure out where they're going to be continuously going right and stay on that path. Oh! Could see the TP from Frog, and he's still down towards the bot lane. He's slowly walking up and stops pushing bottom.
Is for Echo Fox. Here goes Immortals, though.
Froggen right onto Turtle. His spell shield is on, so Froggen's waiting, and they actually throw it right onto Poe Belter.
Let's try.
Hitting turret. Hitting turret. Hit turret, hit turret.
Jax.
Got turret.
I got Jax.
Okay, we got Jax.
We're playing here. Yeah. And just hit.
And now it's going to be Immortals looking to take game 1 just under 30 minutes over Echo Fox.